Well, we are back for another episode of Secret Invasion, a show in which last week we had people calling Marvel's Andor. The main thing that they forgot to mention, though, was Andor's actually good, whereas Secret Invasion, from what we get in this episode especially, is utter dog shit. Nick Fury's character continues to get assassinated, just making decisions that we know Nick Fury wouldn't make. We know that for a fact, yet they just have this, just continuing on from the previous episode. Oh, he's old and he don't think right no more. That's what we continue in this episode. They really haven't got a clue what they're doing. It's just fucking the things that they introduce. They don't really think things through properly. You know, they try to explain things away, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all. But I'm not going to waste much time. Let's just get into it and get it over with. The previous episode was, as we know, just really boring. Nothing happened. It was just really heavy exposition. And that was about all that happened in the show. It was just, oh, the Skrulls have infiltrated Earth and some shit. That's what they introduced in the previous episode. Maria Hill, or Agent Hill, died at the end after Kobe Smulders said, my character gets a lot more depth added to it. She dies at the end of the first episode. So she's dead. There was a bombing that was done by the Skrulls. So that happened. That's apparently the villain is in a grey area, yet he bombed a load of innocent people, children, everybody. Bombed a load of people, grey area. So that's what we had to deal with the previous episode. This episode, we start off with a flashback in 1997. I believe was a couple of years after Captain Marvel was set. So what essentially they're going to do is retcon certain things, in a way, because just from the previous episode, it didn't quite line up with the events of Captain Marvel. So this is essentially what this is. To try and somehow, because at the end of Captain Marvel, the Skrulls, they leave. They fuck off and find a new planet. And then in episode 1, they're back here again. So apparently that plan fell through. They went and searched throughout the galaxy for a planet. Never found one. Even though we know there's so many planets. Even the Skrulls in Captain Marvel knew where to go to find all these planets. Nah, had to come back to Earth. Couldn't find anywhere. And I'm very looking forward to getting into that aspect of it. So it's 1997 in Brixton. We got all these fucking Skrulls, these green twats. And we got a young Nick Fury. This is not long after a cat took out his eye. That's what they went with in Captain Marvel. Good idea, that was. So, apparently they're putting something together. This woman, or Skrull bitch, she's explaining to Nick Fury, this kid's, I don't know, he flew. This is the villain as a young man, as a young Skrull. So she's explaining to him, oh, this boy, he flew here, right? He flew here on his own. He's perfect for, to fit within this team that we're doing, that we're going to get into in a second. So he's like, oh, kids, I don't remember. I don't give a fuck. So then they finally start explaining what the situation is, trying to explain why the Skrulls came back after they must have checked every single planet out. Couldn't find a planet. Yet they then go on to say, our entire species is scattered throughout the galaxy. After saying, oh, we went to all these planets and we found nothing but hatred. Yet their entire species is spread throughout the galaxy. So I don't quite know how that works. But that's what we're told. He's just like, we went looking for a home. We found nothing but violence and hate. Everybody hates us because we're Skrulls, apparently, for some reason. I don't really know why, but apparently everybody hated them. They couldn't find a planet. He says, our entire species is scattered throughout the galaxy. And I'm like, yeah, but you just said you went to all these planets and found nothing but violence and hate. So how is it your species is spread throughout the galaxy? You couldn't find a planet, though. Couldn't find a planet. I mean, there's multiple planets you could have picked. We've all seen the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Loads and loads and loads of planets. You couldn't find one. Couldn't find one. Doesn't make any sense. And why exactly they're relying on humans when they're more advanced than humans. Yet oh no, we need Nick Fury's help. We need this human's help that's stuck on fucking Earth and can't possibly have a way to find us a planet. We're going to rely on, when we have advanced technology, we you know, as I said, even in Captain Marvel, it is shown that they know about all these, like, loads and loads of different planets. Yeah, no, got to get the humans to do it, even though they ain't got the technology to help us. I mean, at the end of Captain Marvel, they fly off in Marvel's ship, and it's like a really fast ship. Yet they had to come back to Earth. Right. None of this makes any fucking sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's what Talos tells us. Then Nick Fury steps up, and he tells them that, well, basically what Fury wants them to do is protect his home. In what way? We don't know. They don't think to maybe tell us that part. It's just, oh, protect Earth. Yeah, but how? In what way? Don't know. I just don't know. So he's like, the world is facing a serious threat. I don't know what threat. It seems to me, as what we're soon about to establish, that Nick Fury has brought the threat to us. Because in this show, he is the biggest idiot. When again, it's Nick Fury, he's very intelligent. Very intelligent, yet the way he goes about trying to convince people to do things for him is really embarrassing. It's embarrassing that someone decided to write that down. And you want more money? You want more money, and you're giving us this shit. It's fucking insanity. So he's like, oh, you know, joining us, you'll have to put on a face permanently, you know, like shapeshift. He says, and this is the promise: while you keep my home safe, I don't know how, Carol Danvers and I will find you a new one. In this show, we're then about over 20 years later. He hasn't done that, which basically just makes Nick Fury an asshole and a liar. That's all that does, so it just further destroys his character. Every aspect of this, they've just got to get their punches in. I don't know what it is. So, yeah, we've went over the idea that they're relying on Nick Fury to find them a planet when humans don't have as good as technology as the Skrulls do. Doesn't make any sense. But we've got to have this show. We couldn't come up with a better way. You know, we couldn't come up with... Actually, secretly, there was bad Skrulls amongst us all along. No, we had to go with this shit that doesn't make any sense. So, then Nick Fury says, you know, you keep your promise or your word, and I'll keep mine. They all turn into humans and stuff, and they've all joined. What cause? I don't know. It's just protect Earth. From what? What are they protecting? From who? I don't know. They just don't go into anything. And it's like you've got almost an hour episode. And I still can't... We're 2 episodes in. And again, I find myself saying with a lot of these Marvel shows is, you know, you don't know how to spend time actually doing things. You waste a lot of time. You really do waste a lot of time. So it's the bombing. Daenerys is there. You know, she was involved in that. It seems as though she's someone that... Oh, she's doubting this cause that she signed up to. I mean, that you would think it would work a lot quicker if you just witnessed a load of children getting bombed. So Daenerys is in here. Apparently she said, this is the best franchise I've ever joined. Really? You haven't done anything yet. You haven't done anything yet. I've already got a feeling she's going to get killed off or something. So there's people, the Russian police are arresting something. So that's a scroll there. The Russians don't know that, though. So they've got a scroll. Oh, and I think... So then Nick Fury gets grabbed by Talos and put in the van and taken away. He was, like, crying over Agent Hill's body or something like that. They gave her a lot more depth. Killed her off in the first episode. So we get our AI fucking intro. Again, the script is written by AI, so why not the fucking title credits? So the Russian people are looking through the train. They're looking for Nick Fury. This is Talos. Talos says to them, oh, there's no black man in Russia or something. You know, by the way, we deal with a lot of race relations in this episode. What fun. What fun it is to get into. So Samuel Jackson starts giving a very shit performance because he doesn't give a fuck about this whatsoever. And it's very obvious. Very obvious. He is phoning it right in. And he starts waffling on about, back in Detroit, me and my mama used to do this thing on the train. We used to be put in the coloured cart. So we do a lot of that. Fuck off. Just fuck off. So we do a lot of that. You know, again, it comes up later on in a more embarrassing way. So he's just he's trying to get information out of Talos rather than just saying, "What haven't you told me, Talos?" You know, that would save a lot of time. Save a lot of time. Just say that, because you didn't need this whole front end part. You didn't need. Oh, we used to play a game on the. Oh, right. I don't give a fuck, Nick. Don't give a fuck. Just ask the guy the question. Instead of this song and dance. Just to say, oh, back in day, we used to get put in the coloured car because I'm black. Didn't you know? So that's why we wasted time on that. So as it turns out, once they finally... This goes on for about 5 minutes till Nick Fury just says, what haven't you told me? You know, he's just talking about, oh, we had chicken and right? Why are we even talking about this? So that goes on for a while until he eventually says, what aren't you telling me, Talos? What haven't you told me? Whereabouts are we? And as Talos says, that there's a million scrolls. There is a million... He called a million... There is a million scrolls currently amongst us on Earth, well, within Marvel Universe. And I'm just, how did they get here? The idea that nobody noticed all these ships coming to Earth is a little absurd to me. No one noticed. A million beings, a million humanoids. What was it? Just one little dinky ship? Was it? Was that what it was? I don't imagine it would be. But there's now, you know, as if the Earth wouldn't be able to account for this. Wouldn't be able to realise there's an extra fucking million people turned up here. They don't really go into if the Skrulls have stolen people's identities, which, by the way, Talos has done that. This current face that he has is Nick Fury's boss in Captain Marvel. So he has he's just walking about with a stolen identity. You know, he doesn't worry about someone's going to go, you look a bit familiar to that guy that was the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. back in the 90s. So he's just done, haven't really thought that through. Also, why is he's a Skrull and he has an Australian accent? I don't know how that works. So yeah, they don't really go into detail on what did they steal identities? Did the Skrulls create new identities? But I mean, if it's stolen identities, then at some point someone's going to go, oh, that's Dave over there. And the Skrull's going to be like, no, what? And people are going to go, you're a bit fucking weird, aren't you? There's something going on there. Or even, like I said, it's like we know how many people are on Earth. There is statistics for that. And another million people just pop up out of nowhere. It's going to raise a lot of questions. Honestly, I don't know why they didn't just do, it's a few hundred. They had to go to, a million, which just raises questions. So that's what they establish in here. So, it, again, raises so many questions. And I guess another thing that does more damage to Nick Fury's character is he didn't know about this. Nick Fury, who is aware of all, didn't know about this. They didn't have satellites like, there's all these ships coming down. What the fuck is that? Again, it's just every direction they just fuck up in these shows. So they get into a big heated argument. Talos is like, you were gone. You pissed off to the space station because you were depressed. It was too heavy being on Earth or something. Because you've got PTSD from the blip, apparently, even though that doesn't really work for someone like Nick Fury. Nick Fury, who has faced death multiple times and has never had PTSD, because he's the type of person that just gets on with it. That's who Nick Fury is. Whereas they're trying to play up, oh no, he's got PTSD because of the blip. Yeah, but it's been worse than that for him. Back in throughout the other movies he's been in, so that doesn't make any sense. But that's, again, it's essentially what they're doing with this show is they're trying to put, a circle into a square. That's basically what they're doing here, where it just doesn't fit. They want to tell a story. You can't tell this one. Doesn't make any sense. Unless you want to take the time to show us, to get him as a character to that point in a way that makes sense, then you can do this. But until you do that, fuck off. That's all I can really say about that. So that's they get into this big argument, and then what Talos tells him is, my hope is that with your help, Skrulls and humans can coexist on Earth. Well, that's already happened now, isn't it? So it's already done. You brought 1 million fucking Skrulls here without saying anything. Nick Fury should have noticed anyway, at the end of the day. And then, of course, because again, it's just absolute cynical Nick Fury. He's for some reason very cynical, a cynical bastard. He goes on to say, humans can't coexist with each other. We've been at war since we knew how to stand up straight. There's not enough room or tolerance for another species because humans are just awful. So my only question to that is, why the fuck has Nick Fury been protecting Earth for so long? If he sees humans as, they're pieces of shit, humans are. What is the reason for you doing the job that you do then? If that's how you view humans. Again, it doesn't add up for someone that is in the role that Nick Fury is. That he's just like, humans, pieces of shit. Yeah, but you put a team together called the Avengers to avenge Earth, to protect Earth, and now you're like, really, they're just pieces of shit. There's no tolerance. You see, everybody's racist. All humans are just horrible, horrible people. So that's the cynicism that we've got to put up with. Unfortunately, can't have anything hopeful. Unfortunately. So that doesn't make any sense at all. All right, and now we can move on to my next page. I've got about 3 and a bit pages to go through, because this episode is really, really shit. So he tells Talos, listen, piss off at the next stop. I'm angry with you. And then we go to London, where it's Agent Hill's funeral. They gave us so much depth. She's dead. So that's Agent Hill's mother, who then goes on to have a go at Nick Fury, blames Nick Fury for her daughter dying. But it's like, well, your daughter knew what business she was getting into. You knew what business she was getting into. So I don't know what you're blaming Nick Fury for. Of course, Nick Fury goes, it's all my fault. Everything's my fault. That's what he does. So she's just like, make sure that her death counts. But yeah, he basically says, oh, it's the reason she died was because people wanted to get to me. Well, no, the reason she died because they didn't shoot her to annoy you. They shot her because, well, she's an agent. She's an agent of Shield. Shield. Whatever. Let's move on. So then we get all the, you know, the media running stories about this group, about this bombing. Russia have now concluded that the Americans did this when it was some fringe group called Americans Against Russians. Didn't have anything to do with the government, but yet the Russians have went, we're now going to war with America. That's what we're going to do now when it's a fringe group that have done this attack, that are not associated with America in general. They're their own group against Russia. So I don't know why you're blaming America for it, but that's what they would have you believe. So, do we get anything else here? No. We then move on to our villain, who's in a morally grey area, yet he bombed a load of school children. Honestly, you know, the people that write these shows should really just, you know, zip it, because they make themselves sound stupid. So this guy's like, you know, he says to Daenerys, that I could have shot Fury. He's, you know, Fury's just vapors. He's old. I could have shot him. I didn't, because you don't punish a man by giving him what he wants. Because apparently Nick Fury, he wants to be dead. Nick Fury wants to be dead, apparently, so that's why this guy didn't just shoot him. Whatever. So they're on their way to a council meeting. The Skrulls have a council meeting. All the people in there are like, you know, you've got the UK Prime Minister. You got the head of NATO. Apparently they're all Skrulls. Don't know if they've stolen identities or not, or created new ones. I don't know. I'm going to have to assume that they have stolen identities, considering how hard it would be to get to the position of head of NATO. So I'm going to have to assume that the majority of these have stolen identities. What have they done with the other ones? Did they kill the other ones? What do they do with them? Yeah, we're going to, at some point... Oh, the Skrulls are actually really good people. So he comes in, he sits down, he starts waffling. Again, stop wasting my time with this nonsense. He just looks at him and he's like, oh, you know, I see in the man's clothing. It's like you're literally wearing human clothing right now. What else would you have them wear? I'm pretty sure your species just wear, you know, regular clothes anyway. So, you know, he goes on to say, drinking the man's wine. You know, I don't see what the problem is. So he's a bit of a, you know, I guess, elitist. He's like, you should only be drinking shit wine. You know, I don't know. He even complains about them using a knife and fork. It's like, what the fuck do you use? So then he goes into like some big thing. Well, the head of NATO guy says, oh, you know, why do we want to live like dogs or behave like dogs? And he's like, oh, you know, I really like dogs. Unlike humans, because you've got to take the piss out of humans again. Humans are hypocrites. They lie. And it's like, well, no, you're literally lying right now. This isn't who you are. Literally lying. You are lying. You're literally about to infiltrate Earth by lying. You're in a disguise. So we've already got a retarded villain. That's always great. We've got to have more of those. We have not had enough of them. So he continues on saying they lock each other in cages. No, you done that in Captain Marvel. You had Captain Marvel in chains and in a cell. So you know, again, I don't know why this guy doesn't seem to realize the similarities. No. He's not going to recognize it. He's just like, you know, they pimp poison. They destroy and degrade their own habitat. The Skrulls don't have a planet because they just fucking destroyed it. So again, it's like you're not realizing what you're saying, because it's later relayed in this scene by a Skrull woman that disagrees with his methods. She says the reason our planet was destroyed wasn't because of our unwillingness to go to war, but because we were too willing. So meaning that because they were so willing to go to war, that left their planet in ruin. So you can't really complain about humans doing anything. But that seems to be what, as the head of NATO guy says, that's a very naive way to look at human history. And he's right. Very naive. That's what someone who doesn't know fuck all about anything would say. So they're like, we need to figure out what to do with you, if there's going to be a punishment or not. It's like, well, we should get punished, shouldn't he? He went out and bombed a load of children without your say-so. This is the council. You're supposed to... But they all just turn and they're like, right, we're going to join you now, Gravik. We're going to make you the general. Because democracy is fine when we're in peacetime, but when we're in war, we need it streamlined. So we're going to make this guy the general. He killed a load of innocent children, but okay. Okay, we're just going to put him as the general, and they're all going to go to war, wage war against Earth. I mean, 1 million against 8 billion. I don't really see how you win that fight, to be honest, unless you just go straight to, oh, we're going to nuke it. But you can't do that because they want to take over the planet. They want the planet as theirs. So they can't do that. So again, 1 million to 8 billion. Don't see how that's going to play out for you. It's not going to play out at all, is it? So where else? What else do they mention in this scene? Yeah, he basically says, "Oh, Fury didn't keep his promise, so that means I have the right to bomb school children." That's like basically 1-to-1 for what he says. He says it in a different way, but that's essentially what, like they say, what gave you the right to, bomb these kids or whatever? And he's like, I have the right because Nick Fury didn't keep his promise of finding us a new home, even though we could do that for ourselves. Because we are more advanced. So we don't need humans. Don't need them. But they just want to take our planet now. So the NATO guy's like, fuck you, I ain't doing this. He gets whacked in the throat. So he then submits. She's the only woman that doesn't. She's like, nah, fuck, we ain't going along with this. He lets her live because she's a woman, probably. He's just like, oh, if I had 100 of you, I'd be able to take over the world. And, well, no, if you had 100 of her, they'd all disagree with you, wouldn't they? So she leaves. I guess the only reason that she lives is so she can give Talos information. That's probably the only reason why. So the meeting ends. He's now the general. She tells Talos about this. And that's what we're doing. We go back to the compound that nobody knows where it is because it's not on the books, even though it's literally a physical place you can go to. That you can fly overhead and go, oh, there's green people down there. They still haven't done that. Fury was even up at a space station, circling around Earth. They still don't know where it is. So they're all cheering, they're all happy about that. Daenerys follows him. She then burns the entire place to the ground. Remember that? Remember how good that was? That was really fucking good, wasn't it? So she sneaks into this place that is supposed to be really secretive. It's unlocked. Don't know how secretive it's meant to be. But apparently this machine, it comes up later, but we might as well go over it. Apparently this machine is to make the Skrulls, make them stronger. And I believe we also get an Easter egg where everybody loves Easter eggs, don't they? Oh, it says someone's name. That's great, that is. So it's like a list of things. It says like Groot. And I think in the trailer, our main villain, has like Groot powers. He can turn his hands into oak, you know, something like that. I think that's in the trailer. So that's apparently what that is. You know, they don't really go into much of that. We go back to Rhodey. Oh, we're getting close to the best stuff of this episode. It's really, really entertaining. Not in a good way, though. So Rhodey is it because they're trying to blame Fury for this attack on Russia just because he was there. That's all they're basing. Oh, he was there. That's all they're basing it on. They're having this big meeting about condemning America, and all they've got is, oh, well, Nick Fury was there. Nick Fury was there. They don't consider, well, he's a secret operative. Maybe he was there for to protect it. Why? For what reason would he go, I'm going to bomb a load of children, even though I spent my entire life trying to protect the Earth? The things that they're basing this on is bullshit. But you've got you've got the UK Prime Minister. She's there. She's a Skrull. So Rhodey basically just says, fuck off, you know, unless you've got more evidence, you know, this could be doctored by the Russians. So, you know, the president hasn't turned up because he's got better things to do. I've just come here. I've been sent here as a courtesy, but essentially just piss off. We're not giving you nothing until you provide us proper evidence or, you know, something along those lines. But he's in search of Nick Fury, so once he goes out of here, Nick Fury calls him up on the phone, and they decide to go and meet up. So they meet. So I believe, did we not get a scene like from this part of it? And this is very embarrassing. Basically, what Nick Fury is eventually going to do, he needs to convince Rhodey to help him out, to back him, to do with all this secret invasion business. And the way he goes about trying to convince Rhodey to help him out is something that Nick Fury wouldn't have to do, because he's intelligent. He's actually intelligent, Nick Fury. But, you know, again, I guess the characters can only be as intelligent as the writers of the show, so that's why he probably makes the weirdest decisions. So, whereabouts are we in my notes? Right, I think we're on the next page. We're getting there. We're only half an hour in. So, basically, Nick Fury is taking the fall for this, apparently. Rhodey's like, you set the stage for World War III. He was just in Russia. I don't know how he's to blame. I really don't know. I guess he's to blame in the sense that he brought a load of fucking aliens here, and there's now millions of them. And they're now going to infiltrate Earth. So, you know, technically it's his fault because, you know, he had to be dumb for this to work. He didn't think, oh, there's thousands of fucking spacecrafts entering our atmosphere. What's going on? No, it's just a million Skrulls turned up. Nobody knows nothing about it. So let me just make sure where I am here. So it turns out Rhodey knows about these shapeshifters. He says, oh, but about 15 years ago, I was invited to a very special, secretive showcase or whatever, and there was these aliens that shapeshifted. The Pentagon or whatever were concerned that they would invade our, you know, because they can shapeshift, invade our world. So, you know, my only question is, what did they do with the Skrulls then? You know, what did they do with them? Did they kill them? I guess we can assume that, but they, you know, they don't really say. So, Rhodey goes, you know, because as you would expect, you know, again, the issue that Marvel faces with a lot of these projects is, especially when it's world-ending events, is they have to account for the Avengers, even though, you know, I guess it's the shit Avengers. That's all that's left now. We don't have an Iron Man. We don't have a Thor. He's pissed off to find himself again. But, you know, nevertheless, you have all these heroes out there. And as this world-ending event is going on, you're not going to bring them in. You're not going to bring them in. They try to explain why they're not going to do that. And I'm not satisfied with it. It's not a good explanation. But again, it's like this is a job for the Avengers. You know, there's not good Avengers left, but you know that's who you get. You get either the who even is in the Avengers anymore. I thought Rhodey was he's not in the Avengers anymore. I guess he's he's still a colonel. I guess he's like got the top job or something along those lines. So Rhodey knows all about this shape-shifting. You know, he's like, should we call our friends? And Fury's like, nah, it'll be fine. We're not going to do that. As he says, if we were to bring our friends in now, they'll find themselves duplicated and turned into terrorists. And it's like, what exactly is stopping the Skrulls from doing that now? You know, you can't explain, put it out there that, oh, by the way, everybody, there's millions of Skrulls around us. You know, I guess you wouldn't do that because, you know, you would just scare people. But it's like, surely there's a way to bring them in. If the Skrulls already have the ability to duplicate or shapeshift into, say, you know, Thor, whoever it is, you know, I guess it wouldn't be Thor, he's not coming back. So just whatever Avenger it was, you know, they can already do that right now. So you've really got nothing to lose. You've got no reason not to bring in a load of superheroes. This is a job for superheroes. But no, we couldn't afford that. Couldn't afford that. None of them wanted to do it, you see. So that's the way they account for it. You know, again, you can come up with a better way from that. Although, you know, it's a hard thing to do, but there's still a way to do it. Right, so yeah, so we can't bring the Avengers in. And then, you know, he's like, I need you to help me out, Douglas, Rhodey. I don't know why I forgot his name there. So I need you to help me out. And like, you know, Rhodey's like, no, I can't do that. You know, I can't help you. I cannot help you. So Fury then tries to blackmail him, essentially. Well, not blackmail him, but, you know, I forget the word. But he just says, are you forgetting who helped you get your seat at the table? And then Rhodey's like, I owe you now, do I? And then Nick Fury, or not Nick Fury, he's like, we owe each other. Do you want to know why apparently they owe each other? Because they're black. Apparently, if you're black, you then owe another black person a favor. That's how it works, is it? I could just go, you know, you owe me just because we share the same color of skin. So that's the tactic he is going with this. To convince Rhodey to back him, he says, oh, we're both black. I'm sorry? Why would that get Rhodey to help you? I'm black. We're both black, so that's why you're going to help me. So Rhodey says, nah, fuck off. Because I don't know what Nick Fury's thinking was there. That is not a Nick Fury tactic. He wouldn't go, I'm going to pull the fucking race card I am. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't, because he's more intelligent than that. But he's just like, no, you got to help me out because we share the same skin color. You know, whoever wrote this episode, you should feel shame. You should feel shame, embarrassment, for even suggesting to put that in there. That, oh, Nick Fury's going to say we're both black. Both black, so you got to help me, Rhodey. You got to help me because... Oh, fuck off. Again, just at every turn, they are just completely assassinating Nick Fury. He's no longer Nick Fury. And I find it funny that in this scene, he says, I'm Nick Fury. No, you're fucking not. You're not Nick Fury. You're just Samuel L. Jackson phoning it in. That's really all you are in this show. But, you know, it's fine. Sam don't care. You know, he's getting paid. He's getting paid big bucks, so, you know, why would he care? Why would he try and give a very stellar performance? You know, I guess the material he's working with is very subpar. So, you know, what are you going to do? I suppose if I was in that position, I wouldn't give a fuck either, would I? Dealing with this... You know, and another thing I'm going to point out now, because it's really annoying me. See, if you are watching this show, listen to how many times they say the word mediocre. They say it, like, in the first episode, they said it about 5 times. They say it about another 5 times. They just keep saying the word mediocre. The writers must really love that word. Or they don't know any other words that have the same meaning as mediocre. If they just use that as the only word. They're like, oh, use mediocre. That makes us sound intelligent. It doesn't. It just makes you seem like you lack, a large vocabulary. That's what it sounds like. So they keep saying that word. It gets very frustrating after the second time. Well, in this scene, we get it said about 3 times. They say that word 3 times. It's like, fucking hell. So after saying we owe each other because we're black, apparently, that's how that works. So that works, apparently, And then he goes on to say that men who look like us don't get promoted because of who our daddies know. Well, I mean, you're suggesting that the only reason Rhodey got promoted was because of you. Because he knew someone. So that's what you're suggesting. So that doesn't quite make a lot of sense. So he's like, let's make that power mean something. Help me. Because I'm black. Because I'm black. I'm black like you, so help me, Rhodey. Help me. Embarrassing. So then Rhodey goes on to into this big speech. It's really shitty dialogue. It really is. I wrote the entire thing down. So Rhodey says, the reason we wrestled this power from mediocre men, there you go, who don't look like us, was not simply to turn around and hand it to mediocre men. Right, you've now said that twice within the same sentence. Stop saying that word. It's really frustrating. The point of this power is to be uncompromising, unsparing, to be able to sit across from a man we greatly admire, with whom we share an entire professional, personal, and ancestral, because they're black, they share an ancestral history. I mean, if you want to make the ancestral claim, it's like, well, everybody came from fucking Africa, Jesus Christ. And to tell him without any reservation that he's fired. So Nick Fury's been fired. I don't know what all that was about with, we share a personal and professional life. What the fuck are you talking about? It's like really clunky dialogue. Not like, even with Rhodey saying it, it doesn't sound a natural thing to say. I guess you thought we forgot that Nick Fury and Rhodey knew each other. So that's why you thought, oh, we're adding that they're professional. They have a professional and personal relationship. So that's the big spiel they go on. So, like, yeah, Rhodey basically called Nick Fury mediocre. Mediocre performance, maybe. So Nick Fury's been fired like that. Rhodey then says, this man over here is going to take you in the car. Nick Fury breaks his arm, so they just let him go. Nick Fury just breaks the security guard's arm, and Rhodey just sits there. So, you got other guys. I don't know why this is... Oh, no, I can't possibly do anything. You just fired him. You were supposed to be taking him away. Oh, no, he snapped this one guy's arm. I've got other guys, though. Nah, just let him go. Nothing I can do. My hands are tied. So he just lets him leave. Fucking hell. So Nick Fury he then says, I don't know, he says, like, Rhodey says, oh, and you wonder why you're out. And then Nick Fury goes, I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm actually in. It's like, you're not Nick Fury. I don't know if you've seen what we've witnessed these past 2 episodes, but you're not Nick Fury. Can you please just be a Skrull, maybe? I'm really hoping he's a Skrull. I'm hoping the real one is dead. That would be more. That would be a lot better than whatever this is. So yeah, he goes off. Like when he gets out, he starts wheezing and all that. He's old, guys. He's old. So he sits down. Oh look, we've got Olivia Newton-John. And she comes in. There's this gang of Russians. They're interrogating this scroll. Well, I don't think they know it's a scroll. So she comes in. I don't know why she's gonna like question this guy. I don't know why she's doing dirty work. You'd think someone like this would have people doing that. But no, she's like, listen, guys, you're all incompetent because you have a penis, so I got to take over. So they all piss. Like, yeah, they even have that guy. Like, he can't even take his coat off the rack. That guy struggles to take his coat off the rack, and she's just like fucking incompetent. But they go out. She asks them where the escape hatch is. So they usually have an escape hatch. You know, I guess they would in these meat freezers in case you get locked in. I guess that's probably what it is. So she locks that up and she injects this guy. With it boils their blood. Right, I'm pretty sure that would kill you. You know, I guess it has some of the scrolls like cold-blooded or something like that. Yeah, well, they've got blue blood, so they must be. Or is that the Kree? Who the fuck knows? So let me see where I am. Right, so I think we come back to that, do we? Yeah, we go over to... So this is where we get the... Look, it says Groot, everybody. It says Frost Beast and Co-Obsidian. So this is apparently samples that the Doctor we seen earlier has. So that's why our villain is going to get Groot... I don't even know how that would work, to be honest. Right, you've got a sample of Groot's roots. How does that... You know, I don't really know how that translates. I have Groot powers now. I don't even know... How would you label powers like that? Oh, well, his arms grow like trees. You know, I don't know how you explain that. So that's apparently what's going on here. So that, like, as I said, the machine they're trying to make the scrolls stronger in a physical way. So that's what Olivia fucking what's her face says. Well, that's what she asks the scroll. She says, what's going on? What's he up to with this machine? And that's what she finds out. So she almost gets caught looking at this. He's a bit, he's a bit like curious about her. He's like, you fucking me here. Are you having second thoughts about this cause? You know, I don't even know what the point of Daenerys in this show is. I still can't even remember her name. They haven't even done anything with her. It's just, oh, well, she's the one that's having second doubts. It's like, yeah, that's all you've done, though. That's all you've done. And it's like, at this point, it's like, what you didn't know? You didn't know that bombs would kill children. You didn't know that. I mean, already, trying to redeem someone like that, it's like it takes a lot of work. And all they're going to do is, she helped them out, so it's fine now. So this is when, she cuts his finger off. I guess it's Marvel's Andor, except it's really shit. And Andor's actually good. So she's boiling his blood. We've then got, she finds out, where's your hideout? Not the nuclear power plant, but they got like an apartment somewhere. So this is another really funny part of the episode. So that guy goes out to get a sausage because they're in the back of a butcher's, and then he gets shot. He gets shot, and what he does is, so of course because he gets shot back, he falls back. All these cans and all that fall, like that makes a lot of noise. So what our villain decides to do when he comes into the... No, what are you doing that for? What are you... How did you not see what you just done there? How did you not see... Well, hold on a minute. If all those pans and stuff fall off the wall, that's going to make loads of noise. So him going, I better hold the bell so no one hears us, is fucking pointless. What? I don't know how you make mistakes like that, but, again, it's not the first time we've seen something that stupid, but I was just laughing hysterically that you just made all that noise And when you enter the shop, oh, I better hold that bell. Your cover is already blown. You've already made all that noise. The guy that you were trying not to hear you is just literally over there. He's not far away from you. So I don't know what. Again, we've always got to have dumbass villains that just make like weird mistakes like that, and act as if, oh no, they didn't hear us. They didn't hear it. No, we just heard. It was in the audio files. It was a big crash that anybody standing just would hear. But no, you went, oh, but hold the bell. Clueless. So they come in, they throw in these frag grenade stuff, things. They just walk straight in there and shoot. I don't know, whatever. So Guy, that's her name, Gaia. I finally remembered. She goes round the back. She goes like under in the escape hatch. She's on the phone to someone. I guess she's the one, because they drive by. When they get back their scroll, they get the guy in the car, and they drive by their safe house, which has police swarmed round the place. So they're like, oh, how did they know that, that was our hideout or a safe house? I guess it's her that phoned the police. That's the only thing I can really assume. But they shoot them all up. They then save their guy who's still got that stuff affecting him. So they take him out to the car. Their safe house is like right round the corner from where he was being interrogated. I mean, if you wanted to find their safe house, you didn't really need the theatrics, did you? You could have just followed him. So they drive into the woods. And that our main villain guy, Gravik, has realised, oh, this guy's told on us. So they take him out and they shoot him. And we just get a shot of her. She's like, what am I doing in this situation? I didn't know that bombs would kill school children. I just didn't realise that would happen. So she's having second thoughts about this, and Gravik's kind of sensing this, I guess. So then Samuel Jackson goes to drive, and there's a scroll woman in his kitchen making dinner. She's a scroll. So Nick Fury goes in. It turns out to be his house. He's wanted. He goes back to his house. He brings them back to where his wife is. Why the fuck would you go home? I really don't know. It's like they'd be looking there for you, Nick. You really that dumb? So it's a scroll. We then go in. Oh, it's a human. So she's secretly a scroll. I can assume. I guess that she doesn't. He doesn't know that she's a scroll. He doesn't. Well, either it's a scroll has impersonated his wife, or he's married to a scroll without knowing it. Maybe this is like to get information to Talos about him and stuff like that. It's definitely not, he doesn't know. There's no way he can know, because I've seen people saying, oh, well, now it makes sense why he cares so much about the scroll situation. It's like, well, if he cared about that, I don't really know why he wouldn't help them out. So it's pretty clear to me, or, I guess it could change in the next episode, that he doesn't know that his wife's a scroll. And then they have the most awkward kiss I think I've ever seen. It's almost like the two actors don't actually want to do it. It's like, no, we're not really into this. It's like really, really weird. It's really weird to watch. Just Sam Jackson kissing this woman in the most awkward way possible. So his wife's a scroll, great. They just hug and kiss, great. And that's our episode. That is episode 2. That is episode 2. So his wife's a scroll. Fucking hell. Honestly, does Nick Fury not know anything anymore? He can't even figure out. Oh, hold on a minute. My wife's a scroll. No, he can't figure that out. Again, it's a complete character assassination of Nick Fury. How many characters have they got left that aren't destroyed? They just keep doing it with every character. It's like, now we haven't destroyed him yet. Let's get to him next. You know, no matter how big or small the role throughout the MCU, they find a way to destroy characters. I mean, they even managed to, you know, destroy characters like Wong in She-Hulk, in Multiverse of Madness. Even characters just like that. It's like, nah, ruined him. It's like, honestly, it must take a lot of work to do this. But again, it's just like idiots in Hollywood that don't understand anything about what they're writing. They just go, that will do. Write that down. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. I'm not going to ask here, mate, does this make sense here? Before I spend the money that Disney has given me and make this. Does this... No, first draft. First draft. Quite clearly first draft. But that's episode 2. I don't think I've really got much else to say about it. I think everything I needed to say about this episode has been said. But, you know, I guess I was right again. You know, I'm pretty sure I said it in my previous review of this show, that it would fall off a cliff. And it did. The previous episode, you know, would I call it, you know, shit? You know, on a second look, probably. But then this episode is just like, oh, there's problems everywhere. There's loads and loads of things that do not make any sense. We're now moving forward. There's now a million Skrulls among us. Nick Fury never realised this. A million Skrulls came down to Earth in multiple ships, and Nick Fury never looked up at the sky and went, oh, that's funny. Just nobody did. Nobody reported sightings of UFOs, so then that would go back to S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury would be like, you know, what the fuck's going on here? Something's going on without us knowing. But there's apparently been a million Skrulls throughout the entire MCU. They've just been there the whole time. So that's going to end up creating a lot of problems, even just looking back. It's, you know, whether you're watching Iron Man or something, it's like, well, is that person a Skrull? Is that person a Skrull? But, you know, it's kind of expected. I still find it hilarious that people were comparing this to Andor. That's, you know, I do find that quite offensive. Like, comparing this shit. You know, not enough people, like, didn't watch Andor as it is. You're gonna fucking put more people off by saying, oh, it's just like Andor. No, it fucking isn't. Andor is actually a pretty good show. That's what I'd say about Andor. I would rewatch it. You know, that's how well I actually like it. But yeah, that's everything I got to say. I'm glad to be done with that. You know, we went longer than the episode, and I'm pretty sure I've had a lot more substance. You know, if I can say that. Whereas this show, it's just slowly dragging along. We've now had 2 hours. You now got 4 episodes left. We haven't really done anything yet, have we? We haven't done anything. When you could have just started the show off with, the entire it's been infiltrated. What the fuck's happened? You could have just got straight into it. I mean, we could do with the Avengers or something like that. You know, I'm pretty sure they're usually involved in that storyline. I'm pretty sure the writers on the show said, nah, fuck that, fuck the comics. You know, we're not gonna at least attempt to adapt it. We're just gonna go, nah, here's Nick Fury, but he's not really Nick Fury, and there's a big invasion going on. He's been clueless the whole time. He's very stupid. He tried to convince a man to help him by saying we're the same color. I don't think you get any stupider than that. To actually, but you know, they had to throw some shit like that in there because they're black guys. They're black, so we got to somehow bring up their race because they're black. We need you to know they're black, right? Okay, we know Samuel Jackson's been in movies for how many years? What, about 40 years? Pretty sure we know that he's black, but they just have to bring it up when it's not important to the story. It doesn't make any sense in the first place, just from that standpoint. And it's very, very cringe. Very cringe. Oh. But yeah, it went from pretty bad to worse very quickly. Quicker than I thought. I thought we'd just have another episode that's just really, really boring. And it is boring. just some of it I find entertaining when you have Nick Fury try to convince a man to help him by saying, we're both black. Help a brother out. That's what he says. We're black. We're black, so you got to help me, Rhodey. Embarrassing, but we'll finish there because we've been going a fucking hour. But that's how long it takes to break down these terrible, terrible shows.